Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. I am Dave Johnson, and we are channeling the man in the moon today. Today's idea is this. I keep finding myself watching these people who are following conspiracy theories, Trump supporters, and it's really difficult because you're in yourself, in your own mind, you're kind of arguing with them, and you're trying to show them the reality, and it's so obvious what the reality is. But I find myself getting really angry and going towards anger and kind of hatred. And of course, I have a problem with this because I have family members who I love who follow Trump and support him. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to hate anyone. At the same time, I really do feel like I should be true to my ideals. So the question today is, how can we be true to our ideals? How can we support those who truly need it? And at the same time, not go to hate, not go to too much judgment. So that's a question for Spirit today. So Spirit, how can we get away from anger and hatred if that is happening? This is a really interesting idea, which some of you might know. Spirit wakes me up every night at 3 o'clock in the morning and sends me images and messages. I keep trying to convince it to wait till the morning, but that's not working out well so far. But I keep seeing the same image in the last week, and it's actually 2 images. One is a key, right? And it's like, this is key to something. And the other is the pyramids that I'm always talking about. And there's just one side of the pyramid that's like the far side that's being sort of turned sideways. And that's the one I'm told that we are working on right now. And it's that sort of, what would a really deep person like Buddha or Jesus do? What would, a great Native American shaman do, or a shaman from anywhere on the planet that's true to the word? What would they do? And I always understand that they would understand these people. You don't have to agree with them or support them, but look at this experience of just understanding. If we're going to evolve, we're going to have to be able to hold these things at the same time, both hold the truth and at the same time see these people as humans who have perhaps gone in the wrong direction. We don't know what happened to them, that they lost their direction and are going towards unkindness. We don't know. It is our job, it is part of our job as humans to be able to sort of understand at least why they are the way that they are. Can you hold to the truth and still be generous and kind to such people? Can you go to such people and just state your own truth without attacking them? Can you do something like, when you're talking about it, lower the temperature a bit because it gets really heated. I find that I'm getting a little bit closer to making jokes instead of getting angry and fighting. I'm not going to change their mind today, right? They're going to figure that out on their own. But if I make a joke about it, insofar as I can, at least that's elevating all of us a little bit, because when you're laughing, you're with Spirit, right? Now, this shouldn't come to you guys as like some kind of pressure, like you got to convince every Trump supporter through some kind of jokes as if you're a comedian. But for our own soul's development, insofar as we can we hold the truth and support those who, are minorities, perhaps women who are really, suffering some of the consequences of a Trump, and at the same time look at his supporters with enough understanding that we can, understand that in another lifetime we might have been that jerk, and in our lives we've done things that are wrong. So can we just see them as that? Someone who's made a mistake, someone who is living in darkness, somebody who's sad or brokenhearted. Can we still stay true to these ideals and still speak our truth without attacking such people, and without, we really want to allow them to come to their own conclusions in their own time? Can we give them that much respect? Obviously, we still have to act. We still have to act and do the right things. We're not going to allow such people to do the wrong thing. But in terms of who they are, can we do that without too much judgment about how they got there? Can we do that without getting so angry and upset? That's not doing anybody any good. It's not doing you any good if you get angry. That's just creating a lot of stress and really distracting you from the mission of being human. So understand that Spirit doesn't really want you to give anything up. You don't have any obligation to help that person. You don't have any obligation even to try to convince them or anything like that. You have an obligation to act rightly in your life. You have an obligation to say no. I will not accept that. But it doesn't help if you get upset about it. Just saying no from the heart, simply, I don't agree with you. That is all you need. That's your mission, is to not be too upset. Remember, one thing that gets some of those people really excited is making you upset. They actually don't even care necessarily about the ideals they're talking about. They like it that you're upset, and they can get your goat. So don't give them the satisfaction. And notice also that you are an example. I want to think about an example here of a person being attacked on a bus, and they're being attacked, verbally assaulted by a racist person. What do you do then? What's the right thing to do? Because you don't want to let that keep happening. At the same time, you don't want to start attacking the racist person. Maybe they're crazy. Maybe they're screws loose. Maybe they just have been so wound up in the world of Fox News that they are no longer themselves. What do you do? Well, could you walk up to the person being attacked and sort of stand between the two of them and say, I'm really sorry this is happening to you. I want you to know I don't agree with that person and they're in darkness. Would you be able to even talk to that person and say, look, why are you doing that? With all the peace and love in your heart, and say, you really can't do that. It's not right. How would you feel if someone were attacking you? There is a right way to act. I don't suppose that Dave Johnson's anywhere near that. That's okay. He's asking this question because that is his own battle, just like it might be a battle for many of you. We are not totally enlightened beings. There's just no way that I'm going to get there in my lifetime. It's just too far. But I try to move closer every day and understand that this is good in a sense of it's our own development. We are learning how to live with these kinds of contradictions. In a way, this is our own, further expression of love. Can we be true and at the same time be kind to those who may merely live in a world of deceptions that they're not necessarily able to manage? Maybe that person hasn't had a couple hundred lifetimes and you have, and this is new for them. Can you go to this place and act rightly without judging those who you perceive are acting wrongly? Can you still love that person, especially if it's your family member? Maybe you're not able to spend time with them. Maybe you're not able to even talk to them because they are too far gone. Can you, from a distance, send your love to them regardless of what they do wrong? Can you still, from a distance, send love? You can. This is, again, for your own development, for your own learning. This is what the spiritual leaders, the true spiritual leaders, from wherever they might come, have come to teach you. Right? And it's much more effective. You learn and you teach more by being an example. This doesn't mean you're a wet noodle and you don't stop the wrong action when you see it. It's not about being passive. You can be active without turning the volume up to 100. This takes practice. It's not going to happen for you tomorrow. You might also think of that person as a kid. Imagine the person who's doing what they're doing is just acting the way that a child would on their first day of school. They cannot manage it. They can't manage the emotions that they're feeling. Maybe their parents just got in a screaming fight before they came to the school, and they're just acting out those feelings, right? It's not because they want to be a terrible person. It's because they're being affected in a way that may just be way beyond their control. In a way, we could kind of feel sorry for them. It's not easy to feel sorry for a racist. That's a bridge that's pretty far. But if you are able to, at the same time, say racism is wrong, and that person is just living in a dark place, you kind of feel sorry for them. Aren't you glad you're not them, right? Aren't you lucky that at least you're not that person who will, have difficulty making friendships, have difficulty making money, have difficulty making any kind of connection to spirit as they move forward. You might consider them person as sort of lost or lost in the darkness. Understand these people are being horribly manipulated by a media, and this is a new kind of media. They don't understand how it works. They don't know they're being manipulated. Their emotions are being triggered. They're having an emotional response. Really, really powerful people have manufactured a way to get them there, where they're just emotional and they're no longer rational, and where they are going to believe everything because the information they're being fed is along those lines. It's not necessarily 100% under their control. The best thing to do is be an example and show as much compassion as you can for those who live in illusions, because they will eventually realize that you have behaved rightly. They will eventually see you as an example, and they will eventually see that you don't hate them, you disagree with them, you think there's a better way to be, but you don't hate them. Most people will come to the fore. Most people will change their minds. I'm getting like a 75% will, in the next 5 years, maybe even 10, but over time, most people will see the truth and realize that they were living in ignorance. This might seem like a long time to wait, but if you think about it, it's just a twitch of, Shiva's eye. It's just a tiny little drop of time in a whole sea of time. That might be making you a bit impatient. But remember, all of those people exist to teach us something. There's a way that this situation that we are in right now with the unreality is going to be like a ladder upon which we get closer to spirit. It will make you very, very powerful if you can act in the right way, that is, supporting the truth and the ideals that you believe in with your actions. At the same time, you see the others as just those who are living in darkness, right? They may never have experienced spirit in the way that you are lucky enough to have experienced it. They may never have had parents who taught them well. They may not understand the technology that is before them. They are acting out of fear more than anything else. The fear is triggering childhood memories when they are fearful, and they're trying to manage it. They're also desperately looking for community, just like everyone else. We're all trying to find a way to come together right now. It is hard to watch them coming together in this way, but the counter of it is you can come together with others in a really beautiful way. And in a sense, this is inspiring this. That is, the darkness is inspiring the light and the community of light that we're moving into in the next 1,000 years. Thanks so much for watching.